Well, certainly it helps in two ways. Firstly, wages are growing faster than prices, so people actually have more money in their pocket, and that helps consumption. So that's good for growth, and we've seen that beginning to have effect already. Secondly, there is the prospect of some interest rate falls. I think most people expect 0.25% in August. Some people think that's on a path which will take it right back down towards the levels we saw after the financial crisis. I'm not so sure about that. I think we might get, somewhere 4 to 5% might be where we land in the long term. But that will be slightly better for mortgage payers and so on than the current 5.25. So, yes, modest help for the government.
Do you want to just confirm that? I mean, look, Rachel Reeves is an incredibly competent person. She's got a huge history, a bit of a Bank of England history as well, and she knows banking inside out as well. She's not going to start taking credit for what's going on the monetary policy front as well, and she's not going to start interfering with the Bank of England, is she? Your indications are steady as she goes, yeah?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think she's nailed herself to the mast of orthodoxy, both on fiscal policy and I think on monetary policy. She may want to change a few definitions, maybe persuade the bank to pay slightly different rates on different tranches of its debt.
Well,
all of that could be modestly helpful in her fiscal problem, but that is what she's got to really give her attention to. So far, it's been a question of what do I say, and she's been quite cautious in that. Now she's got to decide what to do.
Just on the relationship with the Bank of England as well, and the relationship with the banks as well. Not going to be tempted to tweak the relationships between the banks and the Bank of England and interest paid on loans and what have you, and short-term loans. There's going to be nothing mucking around the mechanics in the boring stuff underneath, is there?
Well, I think you've got to understand that the fiscal position is quite desperate. I mean, the Institute of Fiscal Studies is normally quite carefully worded, and it denounced both parties for failing to face up to the
Johnson doesn't think any of their numbers match up. It's certainly not reform as well.
Yeah, he was extremely cutting about it. Yeah. And the truth is that she inherits a plan which says, well, we get through the next year or two, and then a miracle happens and we can square all the circles. She's got to come in and decide quite quickly how she's going to address that. I'm pretty sure she will look at the question of remuneration of bank reserves.
Right.
I don't think she'll go the whole sort of Farage route and abolish it. She'll be very cautious about causing banks to raise their interest rates, for example, on mortgage holders. But I think she's going to have to look everywhere.
Yeah. Generating growth is stunningly problematic. Every single one of our guests, from the eminent investment banks and what have you today, have been speaking on this channel about it as well. There is no secret sauce. There's a desperate fiscal position as well. She's got to be careful in her relationship with the banks and with the corporations as well. Where's growth going to come from?
Well, I think there are two things. Firstly, we've now got a sensible centrist government with a massive majority and 5 assured years in power. That puts us in an unusual position internationally at a time when France, Italy, America are in turmoil. So I expect to see some bounce in private sector investment, and that is the absolute key to future growth.
But you're not going to incentivise the private sector if it's going to get taxed aggressively on the way out, or they're going to lose some of their perks as well. She needs to show that she's tough with evasion, with the non-doms, on capital gains, but she's got to be careful of not incentivising people enough to want to invest here.
Yeah, well, I think she is going to be cautious. That's what she said. But nonetheless, I think the result should be in itself good for confidence. Secondly, she can do a bit on planning. Successive governments have said we've got to address this planning law, and then they've been blocked. She's got 450 seats or 410 seats, a 200 majority. They really could do something, and they need to do it quickly, because that will only work over a period of years.
The show ends in about 30 seconds' time, so planning, is that the key? It's something she can do, it's a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, absolutely. but it's going to be painful. It's going to be very contentious.
Yeah.
But she has to do it quickly if it's to affect the next few years.